Episode 92! God, we're getting close to 100. Will these comics make good film and television shows? We got Amazon's Attack, we got Conan, and we got Dominion's Light by my buddy Brandon Easton. So let's check it out right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we discuss movies and television shows and comics and the occasional board game when I have time. So I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer. And as if it is the first time here, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And if you can, give me that thumbs up, give me that like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you're looking for anything that I've written, I am on Amazon with my novels and my graphic novels. And if you're looking for anything that I've written recently, the description below will have the link to fund my comic for Lords of LA, which is my vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood. So if you want to check that out, again, the description below has the link. All right, so let's jump right into Amazon's Attack. So this is number 6. This is the end of the run on this by Josie Campbell. So I want to stress that Josie Campbell side because she's kind of been walking the line of the feminist thing. Thankfully, she's taken some digs at men, but she's shown the other side as well. So I've kind of been letting it go. But anyway, she's kind of walked that line, and I was really hoping that she wouldn't jump over it. And this book, not only does she jump over it, she's on the 10-yard line on the opposite side at this point. So very disappointed with this issue for a lot of different reasons. And after you see what we have here, I'll tell you whether I'm only going to buy anything from her in the future. So this story is a offshoot of Tom King's Wonder Woman, whereby there has been a whole bunch of murders of men in a bar by one of the Amazons. So the United States has basically gone to war with anyone that is of Amazonian descent that's in the United States. Again, why they're here and not living here as opposed to just visiting, I will never know. They literally live on Paradise Island. Why they would want to come here, I will never know. It makes no sense. But literally, I guess there are tens of thousands of them in the United States and across the world, and in Europe, etc., and not just on their island. But I have no idea what the motivation is there, besides just coming to hang out. Going on vacations, that's one thing. So anyway, they're all forced to go home, and this follows Nubia. She came here as an emissary to talk to the government, but instead gets raveled up in this whole thing with Eris's apples, which are there to control people. Basically, they let go of inhibitions, etc. And she's joined by Faruka, which is by the Bana Mignal. She's the head of that sect, and also Yara Flor, who is part of another sect of Amazons, and then Mary Marvel. So I do like the group of them together. However, this story takes a very bad turn, unfortunately, when you drop the ball. Now, first of all, there's all the apples that's getting transported, and if you notice, the lid is not big enough to cover the actual crate. I don't know how an editor didn't notice that, but it's pretty glaring that you have a smaller lid. So you also have Hoppy, which is really the only male character here. Hoppy is the rabbit, and he's kind of like Trapjaw or whatever. Not Trapjaw, that's from Lockjaw. So he teleports. Nubia has been captured by Faruka, who is being controlled by another entity. And she's like, "Come on out, I know you're there, go ahead and face me, stop controlling Faruka." She's like, "Asylum, asylum, oh!" And she comes out, and I've been the one controlling all this because my plan didn't work when I was younger. She goes off and tells us a big story about feminism. I don't know how else to describe this. So what it is that the goddesses, there's no gods there, they're all female. The goddesses are the ones that taught men everything. Men did not know anything until the goddesses taught them. Okay? So I got a problem there right off the bat. Then we get to this page. And I have to literally read this to you. So it says, "But man was furious that woman possessed such knowledge at all. We like our women stupid, apparently, and men are shit. Men are complete garbage. Every time a woman," and these are all in bold letters, by the way, "every time a woman was smarter, faster, better than rage grew until it could not be contained." So apparently when women were better, men just beat them. Awful. I really just want to rip this friggin' thing up right now. How dare you talk to me like this? So she had to show the world that men were bad, so she gets killed and her body just decomposes. But apparently she becomes this skeletal creature that then can possess certain people or whatever, but then not only possess certain people, but she can take the form of a big skeleton. Okay? So Yara's having this out-of-body experience talking to, I guess, her younger self, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry, Yara, don't worry. Because you did, Laura, you failed everybody. You're a piece of shit, Yara." That's basically what she's saying. So, meanwhile, Mary is tied up, and her mouth is gagged, so she can't say the word. And the creature comes, she does get loose. I think Hoppy gets her loose. The thing possessing Faruka comes out, and we get, this whole thing happening with everybody's like Shazam, and they're going like person by person and showing how powerful they are, basically. And meanwhile, the creature eats the apple and becomes bigger and says, "I am your savior!" And she takes these swords that are basically through her. I don't know how, it's a skeleton, so I don't know how that works. But anyway, she comes down with them, and Faruka blocks them. I don't think that's possible. I don't think she has adamantium spear or anything like that. So the people start breaking out of, including her, I guess that's Nubia's wife, breaks out of this stone containment. And we get this big battle, of which I still don't understand how this thing took physical form when it was just possessing her, but whatever. But anyway, all the Amazons attack this skeletal creature, and I don't know. I don't really know what's happening there. I don't really know. She goes through a portal, and again, Amazons everybody's protesting them at this point. But Mary goes through all these portals. And meanwhile, they're still fighting. Nubia comes up and smashes her in the head. So again, I have no idea what's happened there. But anyway, they end up beating her. And they take her, the skeleton, to Sergeant Steele and Peacemaker. And they're like, why are you bringing us a skeleton? I don't know. What are you doing? What's the deal there? There's no way for us to do an autopsy. It's already a skeleton. So anyway, we get this whole thing going on, and that's basically the end. They stand triumphant, women, strong women, etc. And we get a lesbian kissy on the bottom. And that's about the extent of that. And yeah. It's like that. So this basically ends even the Tom King run, as far as I'm concerned, because I guess they were saying that the apples were caused that person to go crazy or whatever else, because now everything, because they even show the people with the protesting are no longer protesting. So I don't know if this whole thing is just over. But anyway, I'm mortified by how this book talked to me. And I will never, ever touch anything by Josie Campbell again. Good job. Good job. You got me to pick up 6 issues, and now I will never touch anything you ever write again. So, which I don't understand this. You have a woman writing books for men. Yes, there are some comic readers out there that are female. I'm not going to discount that. However, 80%, if not more, of your readers are men. So you just insulted 80% of your audience? You have to have no brain in your skull to do that. To say, you know what? Fuck you, 80%. I just made money off you. I don't care if the other people ever read my shit again. Fuck you. I told them what my story wanted to tell. I don't give a shit if you're insulted or not. I ain't insulted. I don't give a shit. I'm just not going to get through this again. So, thanks. Good job. Good job, Josie. You told me, baby. You told me that I'm evil. You told me that you're better. You got your name across. Good job, Josie. Where's your plaque? Anyway, I really like these characters together. Unfortunately, you dropped the ball, fumbled it, and then ate it. Good job. All right, let's get into Conan so we can get into some toxic masculinity, apparently. So this is the continuation of Conan by Jim Zub. And originally, he was part of a pirate type of thing. So this is a whole new storyline from, I guess we're about 3 issues in, with, I forgot her name. It'll come to me. But anyway, so he lost the girl there. We don't know what happened to her. But he ended up being part of another group of mercenaries that were hired to steal this dark stone or whatever else. He told everybody not to touch it, but anyway, it ended up being possessed by a bunch of evil ghosts, spirits, whatever, that entered him. They told him to look for a sword, and when he finally found it, because he was basically cutting everybody up looking for this sword. So when he did, he stabbed himself with it, and that was how the last issue ended. So now we start out with like a history of Volusia. So we have this spear guy, and he chucks a spear at this statue, and the statue ends up sending off a resonation of some kind, and when it finally stops, Conan comes out of whatever that resonation is. So this whole thing, I think all this setup was to get Conan to this offshoot with another character in it. We'll get to that in a second. But anyway, so he's like, I would get you. I don't care. You are my enemy, even if I don't know who you are. And then he comes after them, but he basically falls on his face. And so because I guess whatever the portal was and getting stabbed through the chest really takes some out of you. So I don't know if the thing healed or whatever. I think he does have a scar for a period of time, but I think it disappears. And but anyway, they tie him to a tree, and he's like, I have no idea who you are, but I'm going to bring you to my king. And he's like, yeah, whatever. So during the night, the sentry goes, he falls asleep. So there's a mountain lion about to eat him. So he goes, mountain lion. He's like, oh shit! He like pulls to the side just as the mountain lion comes up, and the mountain lion accidentally cuts him free, which is, very good. I guess very lucky for Conan. And Conan strangles it to death, and the guy's like, you are a great warrior, so I will not chain you up anymore. Just please come with us, and I don't really want to fight. And he's like, yeah, okay, I got nothing else better to do. There's nothing on YouTube right now, so yeah, let's just go. and And they go to Valusia to meet their king. And look at this splash page. Look at this 2-page splash. It's amazing. I mean, that's really amazing. And this is a different artist than the original guy that started this thing. And this thing's really good. It's definitely a big throwback. So we get, he sees all the women, etc. But then he goes to see the elephant guy. I don't know. Very strange that we have this elephant creature that's like a holy man. And he says, I can't believe you're alive because I killed you. And he's like, yeah, that hasn't happened yet. Just saying. So apparently he's in some other plane of his existence, out of time or whatever. But it's supposed to be part of Atlantis. I think Valusia is like part of Atlantis. And he finally goes to see the king, and it's Kull, which is another creation by the same guy who created Conan, and he lived in Atlantis before Atlantis sunk. So we have this big greeting, and the other guy steps outside, and I guess the guy's kind of crazy, the Kull, and he just starts fighting him for no reason. So we get this big fight go on where it's basically a back and forth and back and forth. But I think that Conan basically takes him, of course, even though the other guy's is pretty strong. It looks like he just barely misses them there, So it's definitely you got some good stuff going on there. I mean, the fight basically continues for like 5 pages. But again, Conan finally gets the better of him, and we get the. I think this is the last page. Yeah. So he's standing over him, and then the guards come in and says, "No one touches our king." Too late. So I guess he's about to get bitch slapped for doing all that. And then we get this 2-page thing that I read about the creation of Kull and Atlantis and all this other stuff. It's pretty cool. Robert E. Howard, yeah. So it's pretty cool. I like it. I'd love to see another Conan film. The last Conan film wasn't very good. So really the first Conan film was the only good one that really was ever made. So yeah, I'd love to see Conan come back to the big screen, but I don't think that with today's time you could do it. I mean, the Red Sonja movie looks like complete dirt. They totally miscast that, so I can just imagine what they do with Conan. Eesh. So maybe we shouldn't see him film right now. All right, so let's jump into Dominion's Light. Again, this is by my buddy Brandon Easton. He's going to be working on this Green Hornet thing, that anthology that I just hooked him up with. And so, yeah, I tend to support anything my friends do, but I will, like Jeremy Adams and stuff like that, but I will critique it nonetheless. Sorry, guys. So we start out with this big battle. So it's a sci-fi, but it's a sci-fi fantasy. So sci fantasy. But it starts out like this big battle, almost like the beginning of Lord of the Rings. And yeah, so there's just a whole bunch of different types of creatures. And then these rock creatures come down and kind of turn the tide. But there's Val something. He's the big baddie on one of the big ships, and they're like, the rock people, they're like, yeah, you came to save us. He's like, yeah, we know that you can't save yourselves. So Valmort, I think that's his name. What the hell was his name? I think it's Val. It's Val something. Why can't I see it? Valgon. Okay, so Valgon's up there with his woman. And he's like, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to kick some booty. So he kisses her. She puts the helmet on his head. And he goes, kind of hovers down and kind of blasts everybody. Meanwhile, and take a look at this woman, because I want to get your opinion about the woman's face. So anyway, the woman takes this baby that's part of, I guess, the royal class. And she gives it to this dude and says, protect her at all costs. And he's like, I'm just a kid. I don't protect babies. But he does, and he promises to take care of her, and they escape. So meanwhile, Valgon there, Valgon, take me away. zaps everybody, and why he put bleed into a double-page spread is beyond me. So why there's a white line when it just doesn't continue from one page to the other, somebody screwed that up. But anyway, he pretty much stands victorious over everybody, and then we jump to 20 years later or something to that effect. I don't think it even tells us how many years. Does it? I don't know. No, it doesn't tell us. But anyway, this jumps to 20 years later, and this is the little boy that took care of her. And of course, she only has hair on one side of her head. Come on, Brandon. That hairstyle has been overused by everyone. Come up with something new, man. It's overused. So, anyway, I guess the lizard men are persona non grata, but one shows up with some maps. And this is her parents, although she's darker than they are, so I don't know why she doesn't think that she's adopted. But anyway, the lizard guy, they should have made one of the parents black, because I think she looks black to me, but they should have made at least one made a little darker. And but anyway, so the lizard man spreads out the maps, and they're like, this is going to be the key, the unity key or something like that. This is the map to that, but we don't have a starting point. We don't have really where we are in reference to anything like that. And she's overhearing this whole thing and falls out of the closet when she hears, the fact that they basically say that we don't want her to know that she's not our real daughter. And she's like, what? I'm not your real daughter! You've been lying to me this whole time! How dare you! And she touches the map, and of course, it ignites. And it's almost like the ring from Lord of the Rings. Now the bad guys know it's just activated, and they're going to send an army over there. So again, it's a lot of stuff taken from Lord of the Rings. But anyway, she's all upset now because she doesn't know who she really is, etc. And she's like, well, she'll get over it or whatever. And all of a sudden, Dad gets a spear to the chest. He's like, oh, that's going to leave a mark. And then all the people come down. Now, why they didn't have any early warning systems when they basically have a daughter of royalty, I have no idea. But you would think that they would have some kind of early warning system for these people just showing up. But they don't. If you have the technology to fly, you have the technology for early warning systems. That's as far as I know. Especially when you have these guns that now pop up just by pressing something on her belt or whatever, and they blast the crap out of people. But Mommy gets it too. There's a person with a scythe right there, and she loses her head. She's like, I'm going to need that back. But anyway, so the girl says, no! And she blasts everybody apart, except for the people, I guess she can direct it. And she doesn't touch her friends, but she touches everybody else. Okay. And she falls unconscious, and that's the end. So, I don't know, it's very derivative. It's the chosen one, trope. The world isn't very defined, so I have a lot of questions about this, and I think it almost sets up too much, and it doesn't give really room to breathe, because we don't get to see any of her life as a regular person for the most part, except for that moment in class or whatever. So yeah, so it's I don't know. I would need to see more of it to get an opinion. But presently, it just looks too derivative to make a film of its own on. I'd like to see where it goes from there. We don't really get to know anything about the bad guy. It kind of rushes through setting everything up instead of just. I don't think that the girl should have even been in this issue except as a baby, because we want to see what the setup of the bad guy is or anything else. We really don't see anything besides him kissing the woman and then coming down and killing everybody. I really don't know what his motivations are. I don't really know what the species of the other world are besides the rock guy is and stuff like that. I don't really know anything. So it's kind of all over the place. I understand, trying to make a pilot out of this, but it's too quick. You didn't set anything up really, and everything gets lost. And Conan, yeah, liking this. I like the whole cult thing, but again, we're skipping stones at this point because we have the whole sword thing, the whole possession thing. Now the possession thing is over, and now he's in this other area. I don't know. It's like skipping stones. Also, it needs to be a little bit more cohesive, but I'm still liking it. And this, I'm refraining from ripping it apart, just physically ripping it in half. Again, like the characters, but Josie Campbell has lost a reader at this point for the rest of my life. So that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think. Am I over-exaggerating? Have you read it? Are you reading? I heard the last Wonder Woman. I skipped it completely because I heard it was just so bad. But anyway, thank you for spending time with me and watching me rant. Hopefully I was entertaining with it anyway. And so we are jumping up to episode 100 already. Can't believe it. But remember that Lords of LA is on Fund My Comic. It is in the description below, so you guys can give me a review on what you think of my writing as well. I'm definitely not perfect, that's for certain. And I don't think any writers ever think that they are. So also, if you're into card games, Mark Spears, who does cover art for Vampirella, Power Rangers, Spider-Man, Spawn, etc., he has a whole host of classic monster art, which we are now doing a card game out of, and it is called Myth Lords, and we'll be launching that sometime in May. I'm just hoping that the stuff comes in from China real soon so I can get my reviews done on the video reviews that need to be done. And then I will let you know when that launches. All right, and that's it for me. Check out some of my other videos when this video ends. And remember to give me the thumbs up, give me the middle finger, whatever. And if you haven't subscribed, why the hell not? It's free. Subscribe. All right, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for watching.